This is Grayman Media content.
I'm Jessica.
I'm Devin.
We founded a media company to help promote local artists and goof off with our friends.
It's not always easy running all these shows, but we decided to add another to our list.
This is The Other Show.
Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Welcome back to another episode of The Other Show. Today we are covering
Pizza. Personally, my favorite is my homemade deep dish pizza. I don't think I've ever had a real deep dish pizza outside of the house. Like I've had like deep dish, like I don't know what Jets calls theirs. There's called Detroit pizza, which is basically like flatbread pizza. I don't think I've ever had a deep dish pizza outside of the house, but it's so good.
I don't know that I'd call Detroit style pizza flatbread pizza.
I mean, so many Jets isn't kind of like if it eats like flatbread pizza.
Because it's square?
No, because it's mostly bread and it's fluffy, like flatbread. Or not flatbread, but like bread. I don't know.
What?
I don't. It's still early, guys. I'm still waking up. How are you all doing? Probably better than me. But also, I love a solid cheese stuffed crust pizza. It's beautiful. It's so good.
I would argue that Jets is probably one of my favorite pizzas.
I don't know. Like, it's good, but it's not like deep dish. I don't know what style other than they call themselves Detroit style, but I don't know exactly what that means.
I have to press play on the background. I'm also a big fan of like traditional like pizza. The first one that comes to mind, and it's not like the best example, but it's the first one I can think of. It's like the kind of pizza that you get at like Buca de Pepa. So like your.
I don't remember. What do you mean?
Well, it's more like obviously it's still very Americanized like version of pizza, but it's closer to what like
Traditional pizza is.
Yeah, from like Italy.
My favorite thing about pizza is it's one of the few things in the world that no matter what you put on it, it's still a pizza. It still tastes good for the most part, excluding anchovies because we don't count that as a topping here.
And we've tried it.
Yeah, we gave it a shot. I'm just saying you have to have like no taste buds to make that work. But like, I don't know, something about pizza being one of the most customizable things in the world is really cool. And that's why you can never really get sick of pizza. There's always so many ways to make it.
May I introduce to you tacos/burritos and also sandwiches? I
mean, again, though, there's only so many ways you can make a taco and a burrito before it doesn't become a taco or burrito. Like, you're going to make a burrito. Because if you make, like, a barbecue burrito, it becomes a wrap, not a burrito. There's a difference.
I don't know about that.
Or if you put it in, like, it scared me for a second. Or if you put a whole bunch of salad stuff in it, again, becomes a wrap, not a burrito.
Yes, I agree with that.
There's not really anything you put on a pizza where it's like, oh, this is no longer a pizza. Like, I don't know. There's certain lines that you don't cross in other types of food.
If I took barbecue pulled chicken and I put that into a burrito with like, I don't know how like Mexican barbecue would taste.
Not as sweet as American barbecue.
Well, obviously. But if you were to do something like that, I would still call that a burrito.
Maybe. I still think pizza's more customizable. I don't know.
I mean, it is.
Maybe I'm just a big fan of pizza.
I mean, I'm a huge fan.
I could eat pizza every day because there's so many ways to make it.
Okay, calm down.
All right. Then we have to put our opinions on the most controversial topping of all. Pineapple. I love it on a pizza. I think it can belong there.
I don't know that I love it.
I love it.
I like it. I'll eat a slice of pineapple pizza all day. Whatever. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. Jessica, anytime we get pizza, Jessica will ask me, "Well, what kind of pizza do you want? What toppings do you want?" I don't care. I never care. I've never once cared.
As long as there's no anchovies on there, he's cool with it.
Yeah, because I taste salt, and like I feel like anchovies is for people who can't taste salt.
Yeah, that's what I say. You have to have a very specific type of taste bud for that. It's so salty.
And I like fish. Like I love fish stuff. It's too much salt is really what the issue was. The taste wasn't too bad. It was the amount of salt. It just felt like my tongue was getting drier by the second.
Your intestines were already shriveling up. You're like, oh my God.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, I think we both had like 2 bites of that, and we're like, yeah, we're done.
Yeah, it was a good thing that we got the size pizza that we did because it was.
Yeah, I ordered the smallest size they possibly could do. And I was like, can you just put anchovies and cheese on it? Like, let's just try this as a topping.
I like Papa Murphy's has like a double stuffed kind of thing. Honestly,
that's so good. It's like a deep dish, but like pie version. It's like a pie.
It's more like a casserole than it is anything else. Which is basically what deep dish pizza is also. I mean, I like New York.
Yeah,
I like New York, a good New York slice. The problem I have with New York slices is
too big.
Oh, I don't
like.
I
want to be. I want to be able to hold it and like eat it with one hand and then go back for more. This is like you have to use 2 hands and then you may or may not have room for another piece.
I don't really have a problem with that, but it feels like, at least in my experience now, I've never been in New York, so there's that. There's that to consider.
We've had the Kentucky version of New York style pizza.
Right. I mean, we had pizza in Buffalo, but I don't
remember that.
No, I don't remember that pizza.
We have all the pictures, but no memory.
I remember a bunch of people saying it's authentic, and it was all like my friends also
Buffalo style pizza.
Yeah, like shut. Oops. It was good, but here's my experience is that there's not a lot of sauce. Now I don't like my pizza drowning in sauce, but like there's
a good ratio you have to find.
Yes.
Otherwise, it's too dry.
Yeah, and again, this is in my experience, and I haven't been to New York. So, I don't know.
That's fair. One day when we go, we'll both have to try a solid piece, and we'll see.
When we go to New York, there's a lot of food stuff that we got to do. I'm big into...
I know, we're going to be spending thousands of dollars on just the food.
Yeah, my strategy for traveling anywhere, basically since me and you went to Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg, was find the cheapest place to stay at, and then let's do stuff around.
Yeah, because I mean, when anybody you can go out for vacation, how much time are you actually going to be spending in the place like you're staying? Unless you're getting like a cabin or something like that, the whole thing. Then yes, splurge on that because that's where you're living for that time. But if you're just going to go hang out and have spend time on the beach, go to amusement parks, why are you spending $1,000 on the hotel when you could spend a couple $100 and have more to go do stuff, more to go eat?
Yeah, I mean, look, if you got a ton of money.
I mean, if you just got money to blow, then you might as well, right? Yeah. But for people who are more on a budget with stuff like that, there's no reason to spend so much money on the place that you're only going to basically go to sleep. But you're going to go crash, watch some TV, that's it. Like, and even that, at this point, you can just do that on your phone. As long as they have Wi-Fi, you're good. Just go to the Motel 6 down the street.
I don't know about that, but...
No, that's how you get bed bugs. That's more.
My standard is a bit higher than that. Right, pizza is what we're talking about.
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, we got a little.
But like traveling in general, like it's just I'm so much more into food
touring. Basically.
Yeah, exactly. Food tourism and things of that nature. Like I want to see the sights, but just keep it moving, you know. So if we ever went to Italy, that would be top of the bucket list.
My issue whenever I see I guess Italian, I want to say it's just European, but I think it's mostly in Italy-inspired things that I've seen on the internet. People make these pizzas because obviously I've never been to Europe, never been to Italy, Greece, any of those places. Never been
That's
there.
all Europe. You nailed it with Europe.
Well, I know, but I wanted to also just not say Europe as a whole because there's also a lot of other stuff in Europe. But I was that general area where pizza supposedly came from and whatnot.
Mediterranean.
Yeah. Never been there, but from what I've seen on the internet, those pizzas, they look so there's not a lot on them, which I understand. It's supposed to be more of an appetizer, I guess, than a whole dinner.
Well,
but there's just not that much on there, and I like it stuffed full of cheese and pepperonis and stuff on there.
You're an American.
I'm American, but I also don't like just meat pizzas, which you love. I like there being vegetables on there.
Let me make this very clear. I like anything on pizza. You could get just cheese pizza, and I'm going to be a happy guy. You could get just cheese and onion, and I'm going to be a happy guy. You could put some bell peppers on there.
Banana peppers.
You can put some banana peppers on there. You could put some chicken on there. You can make it all meat. You can make it all veggies. It doesn't really matter to me.
As long as the sauce is good. I feel like sauce is one of the big things that makes a pizza good or bad as well.
Domino's changed their recipe within the last couple of years, and we haven't had Domino's since they've changed it. I would like to try Domino's.
In so long.
Yeah, I remember Domino's.
We grew up
trash.
on that. That's what I remember growing up on. We did that, and then when my mom and dad wanted to splurge, they'd get Pizza Hut for the stuffed crust,
which is hilarious.
But it was very rare.
Pizza Hut is also very trash.
Oh yeah, I mean most chain restaurants for the most part are pretty bad.
Yeah.
It's better just to make it your own.
Papa John's is also trash, but of the trash restaurants, they are the best one.
Yeah,
in our opinion.
Yeah, in our opinion, they do taste better.
Yeah,
it's always better to make your own because I found out I can make a pizza dough in like 2 hours and it's fantastic.
Arguably, probably cheaper also.
Oh yeah, definitely. The most expensive part of a pizza is the meat,
the pizza,
and even that you can find really cheap if you're trying.
The pizza that we had last night. And I also like deep dish pizza, but I just love like just regular pizza also. The regular pizza that you made with the cheese stuffed crust, first off, the cheese stuffed crust turned out great. I was impressed.
I was impressed. It's the first time I've ever tried to make it.
Because I've tried to make that because we used to make homemade pizzas when I was a child, when I was a young lad, and I would try to, it didn't never once.
It never worked.
No,
it's tricky, but once you get it, my issue with mine is I just didn't have enough cheese.
Well, you can't just put a whole frickin' stick in there.
I mean, I should have. That's what I should have done.
It would have been something different.
Yeah, I made a deep dish pizza last night and then 2 like regular pizzas, mostly because I made too much dough, so we just ended up with all that, and it worked out. But it was great.
It was great.
I was very happy with it.
You get the high moisture mozzarella, which is like, if you really want to step your game up in the pizza making world, just get good quality cheese. Like, you could even get jarred sauce. You can get crappy toppings.
Nah, I feel like this again. My focus is always I love a good sauce.
I do too.
That's not from a jar. I have to make it. It tastes better.
But even if you got jarred pizza sauce, like if you don't have an hour to make it,
the sauce took me like 10 minutes.
Okay, you calm down because not everybody's you. All right.
Canned tomatoes, some seasoning, some onion.
You're typically supposed to reduce the sauce a little bit so it's a thicker sauce.
I mean, you can, or you can do what I did, and it still tasted great.
I mean, it did taste good, but like you could have been reduced down to a thicker sauce, and I think a thicker sauce adheres to the pizza a little bit better. That's my opinion. You're welcome to argue with me all you want, but I'm just saying, for the average person who first off, most people aren't even making their own dough. They're getting the pre-made crust from
that's how we used to like home make our pizza. My mom and dad would throw those at us, and then here's some cheese and toppings. We're like,
we did both.
All right, cool.
We did both.
I don't think my mom ever made homemade crust. At least if she did, I don't remember it.
My mom made homemade crust like a handful of times. Most of the time, we would get the pre-made,
the easy stuff.
Yeah. And if you're going that route, and you're if you're gonna make your own dough, you might as well go all the way in. But if you're getting the pre-made crust and you don't really have a lot of time, or maybe you're not very good at cooking, this is something to step your pizza game up a lot. That requires no skill whatsoever. Just get good quality cheese. It's okay if you use jarred sauce. It's okay if you use the pre-made crust. But if you really want to take it up a notch, get some good quality cheese.
Also, shred your own mozzarella. Like
That's what I'm saying.
Well, say there you can still get like Kroger brand mozzarella comes shredded or blocked. If you want to again make it taste a little better, get the blocks and shred it. It's a lot more moist, which melts better. It tastes better.
That's what I'm saying.
It's simple stuff, and that doesn't even cost crazy extra.
I'm not when I.
But
say
I happen to have also some of that like that good mozzarella.
I'll kill you. The high quality cheese. What I mean by that is don't get the pre-shredded shit because first off they have to add a bunch of preservatives,
anti-caking stuff.
Exactly. So it doesn't mean spend a bunch of money on your cheese. It just means take the extra step.
Take the extra 5 minutes.
You don't need any skill to do this on a cheese grater. Okay?
Well, now I found out now you're supposed to go like this.
Whatever.
Which I don't buy. I tried it. It's weird. It's easier just to go up and down.
Anyway.
Let gravity work for you.
I like pizza.
Do too. Love it.
Yeah. I mean, that's like the original guy.
OG Spider-Man.
Yeah, for sure. I remember growing up on Spider-Man, and now Spider-Man is
a whole new thing.
Yeah, it's a whole different thing. He's not my my favorite superhero by any means, but growing up, he definitely was, and I can definitely attribute Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man to that.
Yeah,
I
think Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man opened up them doing a lot more superhero movies that were better than just like sitcom-ish type filming. I don't know. Ever since that's like Spider-Man 1 with Tobey Maguire came out, I've seen a big input of a lot more superhero movies come out in general.
Okay, what in between Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man 3 and Iron Man?
I don't know dates on that. I cannot tell you that. But in general,
saying,
like once that started, it's
name another one.
It also might be just because
one more
technology came
one
around
more.
to be able to film these.
One more. Name one more superhero
I don't know dates
movie.
on these. I don't what?
Name one more superhero.
You're asking me to understand dates.
Early 2000s.
You name one. If you know dates so well.
But that's not my argument. Your argument is that you saw an influx in superhero movies. I'm asking you to
ever
name
since
one.
Then, that's when
name
they all
one.
started coming out.
Name one.
After that, that's when X-Men started blowing up.
That's one.
Actually, that's like 5, but yes.
But see, you got all puffy over something that you could have just said.
Because you were trying to catch me in a trap.
No.
Yeah.
I'm just don't.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, it's early.
Because I think that the real influx happened after Iron Man.
I mean, yes. But I still think, again, though, it might just be because technology came far enough for them to be able to make superhero movies better and actually like CGI stuff in where it made more sense.
Well, that definitely, for sure.
Because, yeah, then you had things like X-Men come out, which it started looking really, really good, and then it just kept snow plowing into everything. And I would
snow plowing.
But then we end up with X-Men 3, and it just... It hit a wall.
Pretty sure I liked X-Men 3.
Yes. The X-Men started great, and it didn't end well. Anyways, back to Spider-Man, though. Out of 1, 2, 3 with Tobey Maguire, I love 1. Mm-hmm. 2 is my all-time favorite.
It's the best one. It's the best one. It's Doc Ock.
It's Doc Ock,
it's
and also with Tobey Maguire, I think the acting on everyone's part was really well done because it wasn't everyone trying to get into the character and like you learning about them. Or it wasn't 3 where it's just there's so many cringe moments in number 3. There's so many across the board on everybody.
They weren't cringe at the moment, though.
It was, because even as a kid, I didn't like it. It was like, it felt weird. Number 2, there was a solid middle ground. The bad guy was dope. I loved it. Spider-Man 2 has always been my favorite.
Yeah, it's the best one. I also played that video game.
I never played the video game. It looked good, though, but I never played
cool.
it.
Very, very cool. Yeah, I had a great time.
I played one Spider-Man game growing up. I don't remember what it was. It was one of those games where I don't even know what, kind of like the Assassin's Creed fighting scenes, and that's what the whole game is. I don't know what type of game that's called. Well, you're this character and you're literally just going around fighting, but like not Mortal Kombat where it's like this, but it's like 3D version. I don't know what game it was, but I know it was a Spider-Man game because you had to fight every bad guy ever. It was a whole thing, but it was a lot of fun.
Okay.
I'll find the name of it and Devin will put a photo of it right here.
No, I will not. I'm not going to do that
I'll find the name of it for you.
Okay.
And you can put a photo of it right here.
I'm not going to do that. I might do that. I don't know. We'll see. I agree with you. First off, Willem Dafoe is...
Oh, yeah, he's great. Yeah.
Phenomenal. Love Willem Dafoe. That was my first experience with Willem Dafoe, and ever since then, it's just gotten better and better. Tobey Maguire's okay.
Again, I think he was better in 2 than in either of the other ones.
And Kristen Dunst is okay also. I agree with you, and I think
she got better in 3 than she was in the other 2,
I think you ruined it for me because as a child, and even as a young man watching those movies, I didn't really have any kind of issue with her screaming. But as soon as you pointed it out, I was like, God, she screams all the time.
Yes, it's so constant. Every movie, no matter what, it's just her screaming, and I'm like, calm down.
But also, as a kid watching Spider-Man 3, and he was doing that,
I hated it.
That was not cringe for me.
I hated it.
That was not cringe for me. I understood what they were. I understood the message they were conveying, and maybe it's because I didn't have an adult or somebody older than me saying, "Oh, that's terrible." Nobody did that to me. I don't know if that's what happened to you.
No, I just watched
you seem to have real strong opinions.
Well, I also didn't like seeing Spider-Man be bad, which I think is what also made me just not like it. I understand. Again, I understand why, because that was the whole thing. He was like, he's becoming an a-hole, and like he has to learn. Yeah, but I didn't like it, and then the way they did it was just, I don't know. It was so cringe to me.
Yeah, it could be better, and especially on watches after.
Yeah, it gets worse. The more and more you
Yeah.
watch it, the older you get and watch it, you're like, oh,
I'm past bad, and now it's only funny. I'm way past bad at this point. It doesn't matter to me. It's just funny at this point. Also, as a kid, I really remember thinking like I just remember the movie being good, and then when I grew up and realized it's a performance, it's all an act and stuff. I knew they were acting, but it was like you grow up and you understand more.
Yeah.
As the world is.
You start paying attention to the dialogue and the subtleties of stuff. You're like, oh,
and
cool.
So when I went back and rewatched it after understanding like what makes a movie actually good, what makes an actor, Tobey Maguire is he's only okay.
Yeah, I think he's better in 2. Something about everyone's acting in 2 I really liked a lot more.
Do you like the second movie the most?
I do.
Okay, all right. Just want to make sure.
I do.
The villains were the best.
Also, can anyone explain to me how this man at like 17 just knew how to sew an entire outfit in spandex? Well, I'm an adult and I've been sewing for a long time because that's one thing my mom did teach me. I don't think I could show that. I don't think I could put that together at all.
Listen, Peter was a scientist. Yeah, he was.
He also says, psst, psst, which I love that they touch on that. We'll talk about that part later. In No Way Home, they touch like, you just make that? Yeah,
we already. What do you mean later? We already covered that in a movie.
Well, we'll also talk about that when we talk about Tom Holland in a couple years when he's done. Anyways,
he's a scientist. He definitely could have.
But he doesn't have his own lab, which is one thing they didn't really touch on. They did in
We're talking about Tobey Maguire.
I know, and the other 2, they all kind of had their own little lab area type thing, and like Tobey never did. But he was just like, he was like in his brain, he's a scientist. He understands how this works. Why didn't he ever have his own like area of like that was built for science? I don't know. Even in his own apartment, he didn't.
It wasn't important to the story.
Also, how did that dude afford an apartment in New York?
Pizza time.
He got fired though, right away. How is he making money? Like, there's no way he got paid that much for photos.
Listen, back in the early 2000s, the dollar was worth 40 times what it's worth now.
I mean, that's fair. But like, he was selling maybe a photo every couple days, $300. Like, he had to have only been making like $1,500 a month. Would that have paid for an apartment and food?
With government assistance, maybe.
I didn't think about it. Maybe government could be paying him.
Also,
too.
do we ever actually see him eat?
We saw him make cake, chocolate cake. Remember?
Yeah.
And cookies. Yeah, he ate cookies from the girl across the street.
So Spider-Man exclusively eats dessert, and that's it.
Which I guess dessert's cheap. So I mean, if you're gonna eat, did he eat anything? Oh my god! No, think about that. Did he eat anything? He tells
kids to eat their vegetables, but we never see him actually eat vegetables.
Yeah, he never even ate food from Aunt May. He was always leaving right away, or like, no, I'm not hungry.
Yeah.
Damn, he didn't.
Do any of them eat? I don't know.
He never even finished his lunch out in the cafeteria when he hit Flash. He threw it. Huh. No, not his food. He actually threw the person in front.
But come to think of it, do you ever really see people? It's very rare that you see a scene where people are actually eating. It's not a common thing.
No, because then every time they film, they have to refill the plate. It's easier for them to pretend to eat because then they don't have I guess the set designers don't have to keep going back and put more mashed potatoes on the plate.
But like even like a dinner scene, like I'm trying to think of like anytime a scene is happening, it's very rare that people are actually eating. They're usually sitting around food talking.
Yeah.
And maybe like right before the scene changes, like somebody will take one bite of something.
Or they'll be drinking, but that's it.
Yeah. Yes. Drinking happens a lot.
Even Thanksgiving, you just see him like sharpening the tools, but he doesn't actually take it. No.
Yeah, I forgot about the Thanksgiving scene.
I guess he did eat some cranberry sauce. He got smacked for it. Triggered him. Triggered!
Oh, that was Willem Dafoe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It triggered him. Which was so funny. Sorry, I had to finish my coffee.
Yeah, Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3. Tobey Maguire stuff is good. It's good stuff.
I love him. Number 2 is my favorite. And you said number 2 is your favorite?
Is number 2 your favorite? Yeah, number 2 is my favorite also. And then number 3 I think could have been done better. So I think number 1's second for me. Yeah. Number 3
I think they were just trying to put too much in 3. They were trying to end it with a bang.
It was supposed to be much longer of a movie.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I read.
And they just cut it like...
Yeah, because back then, like, if you had a 3-hour movie, it better have been a drama or something like that. They couldn't. It's not like nowadays where you can have like a
or make it a sequel like Harry Potter did. They couldn't do that and make it a part 1, part 2. Yeah, that number 3 would have been better if it was longer or broken into parts. There was just so much that happened and so much character development they tried to do between Peter, Brock, Mary Jane, and Sandman. They tried to do too much character development between all this, and it just ended up cluttered. That's what it felt. It felt cluttered.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, and Harry's development right there at the end too.
I mean, through the whole trilogy.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Arguably, Harry had way more character development than any other.
It's because you actually got to see it. It wasn't them telling stories. Like, no, you watched this man go from good to bad to good to bad. It was the whole thing.
I mean, I guess Peter did have a lot of character development in all 3 movies. Like in number 1, he became Spider-Man, of course. In number 2, he was like dealing with like the web block and like the like, do I want to be Spider-Man crisis thing. And then in number 3, of course, he was the bad guy briefly. Not the bad guy, but he was bad Spider. bad Spider. Bad llama. But we're not rating them individually because we're not doing individual episodes. So we're going to rate the Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans as a whole 1 out of 5. What do you give Tobey Spider-Mans?
1 out of 5. I give Tobey Spider.
Tobey Spider.
That's what that's his official name.
Tobey
now.
Man.
3.8. As a collective.
3.8.
If I was going individually, it'd change here and there, but...
So you remember at the beginning of this when you
3.8.
didn't want to include decimals?
Yeah, and then you started including them, so I was like, all right, I'm going to lean into it.
But then you'd have to either give it a 4 or a 3. Like, a 3.8 feels right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's not what I'm giving it, but for you, it gives 3.8 feels good, right? Yeah, I like a 3.2. It's good. And it definitely kicked off a lot of superhero movies, apparently.
I don't know. I think it just opened the door to seeing that it can be successful if done right.
Marvel's, or I guess Sony also. Yeah, it was Sony. I wonder if does Sony own Fantastic Four also? Because that was the only one that I could think of.
Oh my God, I forgot about that. We got to go back and watch that, guys.
We're not a superhero podcast, I promise.
No, these happen to be what we're going through with our kids. So we're happen to be fresh on the mind.
Yeah, the boys really wanted to see No Way Home, but in order for them to understand No Way Home, I mean, not really. You could watch No Way Home without seeing any other
We're
Spider-Man
forcing
movie.
it on them,
yes,
but
correct.
it's fine.
Yeah. We're watching all of the Spider-Mans. We already watched all the Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans. We already watched all the Andrew Garfield Spider-Mans. And then we're in the process of watching all of the Avenger movies. That way, that's the problem, though.
We've spun ourselves into a cycle of superhero knowledge that's just kind of there.
Well, it's not even knowledge. It's all top of mind. It's movies that have come out years ago.
So you guys are on the ride with us. Don't worry, it will change quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, after, dang it. After the Secret of the Dog movie, whatever that was called, it's okay. I'm pretty sure people will enjoy some superhero movies.
Yeah, that movie was something. But
I can't remember the name of that now.
3 point. What did I give it?
You gave 3.2. I gave it
what I
3.8. That's, I think, something like 3.5 for audio listeners. Devin will put up the actual score for video watchers.
You know what we should do?
Just have a calculator at the table at all times.
Well, yes, but also on the website, on the other show page, we should have the rankings.
Oh God, that's so much.
Yeah, but if you get it started now, it won't be too bad. Anyway, so you could go to the website and find all the rankings for everything that we've ever rated.
Maybe.
Yeah, it's live now. You can go to graymanmediaco.com. It's live.
/TOS.
It's there right now. /TOS. Yeah, and anyway.
Drink your water.
Drink your water.
Hey, if you enjoyed listening to that episode, you can find more. Just go to graymanmediaco.com and you find all things The Other Show.